That's actually pretty good. You're like the opposite of a beatboxer. You're like a drop the bass guy.
The wub man.
You could be like, I know how to. You need someone to drop the bass.
Yeah, I'm your doodah man. Standing by. Here we are, very ape. Sean and Cass.
Back at it again.
Nothing can stop us.
Can't stop, won't stop.
No. Everyone's got to live. And everybody's going to die.
Everybody's gonna die.
Everybody's trying to have a good time, baby. I think you know the reason why.
Yeah.
I'm back on this. I'm back on vaporizing bud.
Yes.
I have the dabs on standby in case, but I'm trying to relegate those to nighttime hours.
How do you like the lifestyle?
I love the lifestyle. I forgot how much I love the lifestyle. It was basically like while we were shooting this summer, I got just fully absorbed in dabs and just started doing those all day.
Because you're like, this is the lifestyle.
Yeah, I was like, now this. I never even made that choice in a given moment. I just switched over. I just like phased this out, and then like I found this the other day, and I was like, wait. And you reminded me. You were like, by the way, you're spending like $22 a day on dabs. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, man. Jesus, we've never heard prices like that down under.
You're just following your dad's footsteps instead of 2 packs a day. It's, whatever this is. No, even who we get the dabs from, pure rosin dabs. And he's the dab man. He's like, oh, yeah, I don't even smoke dabs till the evening. And we're like, oh.
I should have asked.
You're just going rogue out here.
I was just getting crazy. I'm just doing me, There's no one knows how to do me but me. I know what I need.
You got to do what you got to do in this life.
Yeah, exactly.
We try not to judge what other people need.
I always say, don't judge a man by what he needs to get through the day.
I know.
That's just because I don't want anyone judging me.
I know. I was giving my mom a hard time because she started drinking some wine in the evenings, and she was like, Cassie, you shut up. You do all this weird stuff, and like.
She doesn't want you saying anything about alcohol?
No, she just doesn't want me giving her a hard time because she's like, I've been so accepting of you. Like, just don't get on my case, I'm doing so good. Just
reminders. It's just helpful to.
I'm just like, it's poison, Mom. It's poison.
What else can you say? It is.
Yeah. And meanwhile, I'm like, ketamine, it's medicine.
Well,
I'm just kidding. I don't even do that.
Well, like Larry told us, he was like, there's lifestyle drugs and there's death style drugs.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Life affirming and death affirming. I say lifestyle and death style.
Like that's, I don't know. Death style kind of gives those kind of drugs too good of a name,
Not really. Not for me, because I associate that word with a horrible Metallica album called Saint Anger.
Oh, I don't know that.
Yeah, I think that's some of James Hetfield's horrible lyrics that probably should have been temporary that ended up making it on the album. But
you were saying something interesting the other day. You were like, this, everyone drinks, what is it? Liquid death. And you're like, words are spells. And what kind of spell are we doing with liquid death?
I just don't understand that product name. And here we are saying it.
Oh, sorry.
But that's why. No, I'm not like crazy like that, but like I just don't understand why you would want.
Because you're badass. You're a badass.
I'm a badass. Look at this liquid death. And we're gonna look back at this era like Ed Hardy. Remember Ed Hardy and like trucker hats and all that stuff. We're gonna look back at people holding cans of liquid death and be like, Jesus Christ, fucking herb.
Yeah, use a reusable water.
Come on, get a fucking bottle of water. What the hell? You throwing your cans of water away still?
Like how many cans? Like I think it's a good transitionary period to get people off like, soda or beer. It's like, oh, I feel cooler. I'm at a bar,
Yeah,
but to just be like
I
solely.
could see how it would be nice at a bar.
Skip. And then just think of transporting water. That water weighs a lot and it needs to be canned and transported to you.
I didn't even think about that. That fucking sucks.
And then, aluminum cans, I don't even know if those are good, but don't they like line most of the cans with plastic? So it's like you got the microplastics. I don't need to start this episode.
I came up thinking aluminum cans were like the first enemy before plastic bottles took over. Aluminum cans were just like, we got to get off these things. Like that was in the 80s.
You're like, we need to stop smoking weed out of the aluminum cans.
I smoked so much weed out of aluminum cans that like, I don't know if I'll be okay.
I don't know if
We'll
you
see.
are
Like
okay.
literally until I met you, that would be like my go-to thing.
Well, it's
you know?
because you smoke like weed once a month.
I'd smoke, way
When you're
rarer than that.
wasted.
When I'm wasted, just be like, fuck it, and just chug a beer and poke a couple holes, throw a butt on there, and hit it. It's fucking disgusting. But everyone's got to live.
And you got to do what you got to do in this life.
Yeah. I didn't have to do that. Maybe I did. I don't know. Maybe
There
I
are
did.
worse things.
Can we shout out our new merch drop?
Oh, early in the episode? Sure.
Yeah, because we forget to do this, and, people, they move on. They listen to us talk for a couple minutes, and they're like, that's enough of that.
I've had enough. Yeah.
So we want to say it towards the beginning, but we just did an epic new merch drop.
Yes,
Well, I'll start with this. We have
Yes.
simple. I wanted one of these, so we got a bunch made.
Yeah.
But it's just a hat that says Very Ape. It's very, very tasteful.
Yes, because you're tasteful and a monkey. We're all monkeys.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're like us and you evolved from apes, you might want this to honor that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. So we have Very Ape beanies. What are these, like $20 or some shit? 25?
If you're a patron, yeah.
Patrons get a discount, but either way.
We got good quality stuff, and
Yes.
so we're
Now-
not competitively priced.
Do you want to shout out the artist that did this, Amber
Amber.
Amber Tamblyn?
No, Andrew Tamlin. Yeah, of course. He's an incredible artist. He did our OG first merch drop.
Yeah, and he is Formless Informing on Instagram, and he made this design. I doubt you could see it, but
It says see you on the other side. It's formless.forming.
formless.forming.
Yes.
It says see you on the other side, and on the back of this dope-ass hoodie is this design, which I fucking love.
Yeah,
I love
it's
this
just
so
the
much.
kind of hoodie that says that I love you where there's no space and time.
It's the kind of hoodie that says an angel's got your back,
Yeah.
for real.
What the fuck is going on here?
There's really an angel on your back, and what the fuck is going on here? And then, and these hoodies are really high quality. We went all out.
Yeah,
We just
we're-
got the most expensive, nicest, high quality ones. It's not going to pill up and super
Gonna fall
warm.
apart because
Yeah.
it's like at this day and age you can't just be buying fashion that you want to throw out. I saw someone say only buy stuff that you'd be willing to mend, and I think that's a good
Yeah. That is a good way.
policy.
Yeah.
I've been buying a lot less stuff, so you want to really care, and this is a great way to support us. So if you like these designs, you should rock one. And then we have Laugh Till You Cry, Live Till You Die
The
t-shirt,
official Church of Chill t-shirt.
which I love. And this is a little, if you had the original t-shirt, this is a little bit of a heavier weight. The other one was like more of a summer weight. This is more of like a
It's comfort colors.
classic thick weight. Yeah, pre-broken in. You don't have to wash. You don't have to be like, oh, I gotta keep washing that. You know when you get a shirt and you're like, I have to wash this a million times for it to feel good. I
Yeah,
hate that.
I know. I have shirts from the 80s I'm still working on.
Sometimes I'm like, let me just throw this shirt in with every load of laundry until I want to wear it. But then I never do, and I'm like, well, I'll never see that shirt.
I have a Descendants shirt that was made in 1983 for the I Don't Want to Grow Up album.
I love that shirt.
And I acquired it in like 2003, and it
Mhm.
was still like a piece of cardboard.
Mhm.
This thing probably already been washed hundreds of times, and it was
Mhm.
like a piece of cardboard. And I've gotten it a little bit softer. So I don't know. Maybe when it reaches its like 50th year on this universe, it'll get soft.
Yes,
But our shirts are soft, and they stay soft.
that's for sure.
Unlike us.
You're so responsible. Oh, and know what else we should do? We should say if you're just listening, you can watch us on YouTube. And if you're just watching us and you want to not be on the YouTube app, because sometimes it sucks when you're trying to do other things, we're on Spotify and iTunes. I had a friend the other day be like, I didn't know you guys were on Spotify.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, shit.
I guess we never really talk about it because I'm not a huge fan of that company and their practices. And
But you
everything.
love YouTube and their practices?
No, not at all. I just have more fun on YouTube, so it feels like also that's how we can tell who's listening, and people can leave comments and stuff like that. So it's a lot more fun. It's also more novel because our first 182 episodes were audio only.
Mm-hmm.
So here we are,
Here we are.
deep into this thing.
Thanks for letting us do some business.
Thanks for letting us take care of a little bit of business.
Business is business, as you were saying to me the other day.
Isness is business. I forgot about that
Business
one.
is my business, is what you were saying.
Yes, isness is my business.
You're like, Cass, this is a good saying. Isness is my business. And I was like, yeah, Sean, that's good.
I always come up with like little, just dumb things for us.
Yeah.
Isness is my business means like be of the moment.
Oh my God. When we were on the hike the other day and we were talking about stuff or something, and I said, no time like the present. And it just felt like so profound in that moment. I was like, that is something that people say all the time, have been saying it forever, but it's like it's simple. It is everything. No time like the present. I mean, I use it for like get your shit done. Not in like a shamey kind of way, but
Mm.
like no time like the present to take care of whatever this thing is that you're thinking of. Right, so then you don't have to think about it. You're like, "Oh, this little angel whisper of an idea or a thought or a reminder. No time like the present, especially when it comes to watering your plants, because I'm so bad about that. But
I think when it comes to watering yourself, you know,
no time
you
like the
love
present.
talking about water and thinking about water and philosophizing about water. And I'm like, I drank a gallon while you were talking about going to find a glass to maybe have some water, you know? It's crazy.
Your mom was like, we need to be drinking 64 ounces of water a day. And I was like, I definitely don't do that. Not even close. I'm like a 8 to 24 ounce girl.
I bet you've had days where you don't even have that.
16 ounces?
Yeah.
If I get 2 solid glasses, I'm like, yeah, I did it.
You need to get your ounces. It's
Hey,
just
no
as
time
simple
like
as
the
that.
present. Reach a watt for your water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hydro homies.
We're just here to remind you to drink water
Yeah.
and land in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
We're your co-captains. We're co-captains on
Co-piloting.
co-piloting
Yeah.
instead of being like a meditation. We're just like let's hang out and let's talk about noticing the texture of your clothing and how your body is supported by the earth and the nice feeling of air and
You're soothing me.
oh yeah,
Yeah, it's really nice.
so soothing.
The people love it. What did Zoe called it? BDSMR?
Oh yeah, BDSMR. I gotta work on my BDSMR.
Well, we're here. We're still doing this thing. In this wild world, in this tiny, ugly world.
Oh yeah. I've been having a lot of tiny, ugly world thoughts, and I'm sure a lot of other people have too.
Oh, God. It's
I really feel for everyone, myself included. Like, what the fuck are we doing here?
what's going on?
What the fuck is going on? And why is it so fucked?
What
And
the heck is going on?
Get me off.
Yeah.
I literally have been having a lot of get me off thoughts.
I know.
And it's dark, and I'm like, if I'm having get me off thoughts, I can't imagine how people who maybe don't have as much, current blessings in their life or struggling a little bit more might be feeling sometimes, and it's can be tough because we're just it's a lot of confrontational energy, and I think it's all for the betterment of our society and our life and of our world and
Our individual souls.
yeah, and and the growth of our individual souls. We're being forced to face unhealthy habits collectively, and unkind ways of being, unthoughtfulness, and I mean that's like the gentlest way of saying it, right?
We're gentle people. We might as well say it gently.
Yeah. I don't know. Have you been feeling that?
I feel like we embody sometimes, like, it's like one of us needs to hold space and, like, a little bit of, like, idling on anxiety. And one of us holds space and this is my business. So,
Yeah, it usually is like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And usually you're much more of, like, my earth dragon.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you had a great point the other night. Like, basically what you were just saying. You were like, I'm so blessed. And you went through all the reasons, like, and which is a great practice in itself. Like, look how blessed I am. Boom, 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 boom. Just like right down the line. And you're like, I'm still fucked up.
Yeah.
I still barely want to participate in this fucking meat grinder of an economy, nasty, warring people. Just, you were
Just
getting really
being
bummed out.
tricked and fooled and misinformation and anger and other people having like such different ideas that you're like, are you insane to feel that way?
It's super isolating.
You're just like, is everyone fucking insane?
Yeah.
You're like, in order to feel this way, like that's probably the opposite of however you feel. You're like, they're insane because how you feel and how you feel about the world and how you see things are so obvious to you. You're like,
I justify it.
You justify what?
however someone's behaving or reacting. You know, I'm much more interested in like how did you arrive at that than like judging it.
Yeah, having compassion. I usually
Like,
am,
wow, that's interesting.
but
I mean, we're all just like little apes running around doing our thing. It's just like, oh wow, you think you see this place completely opposite than me. Isn't that fascinating?
yeah, no, that's a good way to go about it. And I feel
Like,
like I'm usually
wow.
like that, but I think there's been the temptation or the seduction to be like very enraged at people because it feels like the stakes are even getting just higher and higher.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it feels like people are getting just more easily bamboozled than ever.
Mhm.
And I think it's probably because of our phones and the
Yeah.
internet and, you know, laptop computers and iPads and all this stuff. It's just like we're constantly staring at this thing that's connecting us to narratives that are so far outside of what we actually need to be thinking about or worried about. That it can really just, it can take you far out. Like when you were saying all this stuff the other night, you were saying it on the heels of like a Twitter hole. You just went into a Twitter hole. Like I'm not
Oh
on
yeah, I
Twitter right
haven't been
now.
on Twitter this whole time, and then you got off Twitter, and I'm like, well, I'll pick it up.
Yeah, yeah, and it's
One
like
of us should be informed
and
here.
like I see you doing it. Like we just had such a great night, and we watched Kill Tony, and we laugh our asses off, and we had sex a couple times, and we had some good food, some little snackies, like
Things are
just
going
great.
well upstairs.
Everything's quiet. It's all good, and it's bedtime, and you're like, let me stare at my phone for an hour. And most of the time when you're doing that, I can trust that you're doing the right thing because you're laughing.
Oh yeah.
You're like, oh my God. Just cracking up, sending me stuff, you know, showing me videos and such. But you had that like concerned, you know, like, and going through and scrolling through, and you're just like, oh, fucking, I can't believe this. You know, that type of energy. And I'm like, oh no. So it's, I mean, like it is self-inflicted in a way. It's like you tapped into a world of opinions, and you didn't have your macabre fully about you.
No, it's been interesting to, because it feels important to know what's going on. It feels important to like make a difference by having the information sort of energy. But oftentimes I'm like, how am I making a difference though? But beyond that, I'll just be like, oh, I shouldn't do this. Like I really went into this weekend being like, I'm not gonna look at my phone this weekend. Like I'm gonna take a break, and I didn't do it. I couldn't do it. I don't know what happened. Every day I'm like, I'm not gonna. I gotta put this thing away.
I see you do it in the moment. You know, we'll be driving or whatever, and you're sitting there, you're doing your thing, and you're just like, whew, God, I gotta stop looking at this thing. And you put it down, and it like 15 seconds will go by, and
Yeah.
you'll be like, oh, wait.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow.
You do it too. You
Of
do it
course,
too.
yeah, but I don't have the like the self judgment about all this stuff. You
Yeah.
know, I'm just like, ah, whatever. It's a bad habit. Eventually, I'll take a look at that. But yeah, it's very interesting to me because it's like I just have you as this very small example, and like you're so grounded and not super reactionary and not easily tricked or grifted. And
No, I don't think so.
yeah, it's but I think it's something we're all suffering from. It's a screen age wasteland.
Yeah. A quote, an Ani DeFranco quote I used to have as a kid on my wall, or my door. My door was covered in all the stickers,
Yeah.
and hers was, "If you're not outraged, you're not paying attention." And there's like some truth to that, but then there's also like, is outrage the most like useful emotion to move forward and have a? I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know the answers to these things.
To me, not really. I don't know, because it has me in a state that kind of dampers my cognition.
Well, I will say that I've noticed since you've been less like invested in other narratives, like you're a big energy in this house, obviously.
Yeah.
And like the vibe is really good. Like the vibe is expanding to a better place and higher highs, and Katie's been like having like this total laughing fits, your sister,
That's
who
the best thing ever.
Yeah, it needs constant care. So like, you know, we always are like, we're always worried and thinking about Katie. And so when she's like just having laughing fits all the time, it's like, oh, stuff's good around here.
Yeah.
Things are going really good. That's what it's all about, you know.
I always say, like, you have to, in order to achieve laughter and humor, it takes a lot to get there. You have to have a lot of humility. You have to kind of be above all of the outrage and that kind of, that's why it's just like, if you're not outraged, you're not paying attention. It's just like, what?
And then it's like, if you're outraged, you've lost your compassion, and we just need to like invite people into like a better way of relating with each other.
Yeah, yeah. But Caitlin, my sister who has epilepsy, who we have to look after, don't have to, we choose to. We
Of
love
course,
doing
yeah.
it. You know, I love anything that makes her life better, makes me feel infinitely better. It's crazy. I don't know how we weren't doing this sooner. I say that all the time. But she's not part of, well, I guess she is. I was going to say she's kind of outside of the screen age wasteland.
Yeah.
But she also is somehow addicted to cable news.
Well,
She's somehow addicted to cable news. So
yeah.
I don't know. And she has opinions that you're like, how did you know about this? And it's just crazy. It's just crazy. And like I don't know. I see like little examples here and there of like what it's doing to us overall. Like having just a perfectly tailored world that's right here starts to make a lot of the stuff that's out there not as useful to you, or so it seems, but I think that's an illusion.
It's a consumption versus a creation loop.
Mm-hmm.
And this world is asking for us to create in a more sustainable way.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to do that and tend to ways to do that and have creativity for that when you're in a scroll hole.
Oh, yeah. The scroll hole.
Because you feel like, oh, well, I liked that tweet. I did something today, you know?
Yeah. That's why I had to delete Twitter. It's just like there's nothing going on there except unnecessary stress chemicals getting released through my body. Whether they're positive or negative. You know, people go on there and they say really nice things about us and send me nice notes and stuff, and that's sweet. But for all of the just useless, uninformed opinions I have to scroll through to get there, and my view on humanity goes down, I don't want to have that. I want to hold a high view of humanity.
When we were up in Noah's the other week, he was showing us this vampire show. I don't remember the name of it. But
It's like a fake reality show about vampires.
Yeah, but
what we do in the shadows or something like that.
Yeah, but there's living with these vampires is this guy who's like an internet vampire.
Yeah.
And he goes through and he like sucks people's energy.
He's an emotional vampire.
He's an emotional vampire by like putting controversial comments on people's tweets and putting controversial comments, because you just think about those people who end up being vampires of your energy. And there's a lot of people I really respect on Twitter and who, are trying to disseminate alternative news sources to the dominant one and stuff like that. And I'm like, wow, thank God for you. Like, what a blessing that you offer this and that we can see other sides to this story, whatever the story is. But I'm like, the amount of vampires that they have to face on a daily basis.
I can't imagine what their life is.
So tough.
They're really on the front lines of the culture war.
Mm-hmm.
Like people like someone like Katie Halper.
Yeah.
She's always flying in the face of the dominant news narrative, and it's never been fun for her, but she keeps doing it. I guess I don't know. I guess she makes a good living doing that. But like she is, she's the one that was like debunking Russiagate in real time. Imagine being that person.
No, it wouldn't
it's
be
not
fun.
fun.
No, not fun.
It's not fun. And she's a Jewish person who has to say like, no. There's a genocide going on. It's been going on. Let's take a look at it. Let's free these people. That's not fun for her. I can't imagine.
No.
So I hope she has a good time on in real life.
Yeah.
Because I can't imagine. Like my heart breaks when people say negative shit. Like as much as I don't want it to affect me, and as much as like it overall really doesn't. I'm probably better than most people at handling that stuff. But every now and then, if I'm not in the best mood and like somebody wrote something literally to annoy you, It's just like
When I see you in the morning typing what seems to be a paragraph, I'm like, oh no.
somebody left a fucking comment last night.
You're like, I gotta bone them. They're
Yeah.
talking about how they want to bomb this place, like talking about like Oxiana or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. No, people sometimes will just say the nastiest things, and for the most part, like hundreds of those comments will come in, and I'll be like, oh, well, whatever. It is what it is. But every now and then, so it's literally about the timing of how I'm feeling. Fucking somebody, this fucking dipshit wrote the other day on Wooks, like, interview more women. And I was like, who the hell is this person? Like, what are they talking about? Like, are you trying to be a feminist? Are you trying to, like, be some sort of white knight? Like, what is this? So, like, we went into a back and forth on there.
I didn't even hear about this. So it's interesting you're saying that now. I don't even know.
We basically went into a back and forth about it. But it was like, it just turns out this person was just like an edgelord, like just trying to get under my skin. Like, but why? Like, I can't relate with that type of person. I'm just like, why are you sitting here? Like, I don't know. I don't know any artists that leave negative internet comments. Because it's just like the karmic charge of that would just be too much. Like, I can't imagine like being like, this sucks. You know what you should have done?
I'm reeling from talking a little shit on Dead and Co the other day, because
there was some bite back to that.
And I'm glad.
commentary.
It's important. It's important to bite back when I just fucking talk off the hip, because I heard someone else talking off of the hip about a movie I liked, and they were like, that movie sucked. And I was like, fuck you, man. That movie was awesome. I'm not listening to anything you say anymore.
That was Joe List, the comedian.
Yeah.
He was talking shit about the Holdovers movie. And you overheard that, and you're like, fuck him. He shouldn't be saying that. His movie sucked. He's not allowed to say that other movie. And I'm like, Cass, he has a movie criticism podcast. And he just had a kid, and he probably slept for 2 hours and then went and saw this like long, slow movie. And like I started to give you a little bit of context.
You really didn't want to feel like Joe List was off the table for listening to.
I don't want to have a negative opinion about him. I want to be able to listen to it very lightly, like I do. It's kind of like background music to me.
And yeah, he just hit me at the wrong time, and then I just thought like, oh, that had happened, and then I like kind of threw some shade at Dead and Co, and I was like, I take it back.
Throwing shade unnecessarily, like I don't know. I'm too superstitious. I'm too superstitious. I'm too aware of what goes in to any piece of art that someone's made that you know about. If they've publicly displayed it, even if no one's seen it yet or whatever, the fact that they got to that place, I know what goes into that, and it's hard for me to talk shit, especially on the internet where like it's just going to be sitting there forever. So yeah, me and this girl, this is what happens though when I go back and forth with somebody like that. You know, they're saying embarrassing things, I'm saying embarrassing things, I'm feeling like I'm making righteous points and blah, 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 all that stuff. But once we're done, I just delete the fucking thing because I don't think either one of us want a record of that out there. There's no way to message people on YouTube. And if there was, I'd probably do a lot of, like, more of that type of thing. But I rarely engage with the comments. It's just when someone says something like that, I'm like, is this the feminism that makes you feel like you're doing good in this world? That women need more representation as drugged out wooks? Like, what are you talking about?
Well, that'll be wooks too. And that's
no, but this is what I'm saying
no,
about this is the screen age wasteland is like people have just become like Pavlovian dogs. Like they just have their little their little tool belt of like, here's things I say when I feel this, and it's just like it's just becoming algorithmic. Oh, that triggered this. I better say that. I'm gonna report that. I don't know. It's so lame. And you know what else I think about? Like we touched on this very briefly in the Zoe podcast, but like we have so many friends that are like beautiful women, and some of them are on the dating scene. Some of them have like boyfriends or whatever. The amount of fucking beautiful women that are telling us that they can't get the kind of sex that they want or intimacy or attention or disturbs the shit out of me. I think something is going on that I can't really quite put my finger on, and I don't know really what to blame, but I definitely think screen addictions would be a huge factor in that. Don't you think? Like, what is that? Because it shocks me every time we hear this, and it's just one after the other, after the other, after the other.
Yeah, I mean that's not even to get into like the what dating apps or what the like gamification of dating has done.
That's a huge part of it.
Well, oh God, I wish I could remember what comedian the other day was saying. Some hot chick throws a bone to some ugly dude, and then he sets his bar like he'd always get a hot chick, but she was just horny, so he's now rejecting all these girls that like would be more appropriate for him
Yeah.
because some hot chick was horny one night.
No, yeah, exactly.
It was really
It,
the way she said it was funny.
it was a great bit. It was on it was a female comedian on Kill Tony. She said that in her 1 minute, and I was like, that's a really actually a good bit if she builds it out a little bit more. But basically, like what you were saying, it's just like, yeah, hot chicks need sex too, and sometimes they have, those nights where they're just like, fuck it, I'll just let this guy get in there. And then these very mediocre guys, and she's talking about New York City, because there's so many more guys than girls. So these very mediocre guys are out there.
You mean there's so many more girls than guys? Or
There's so many more girls than guys.
yeah.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Thank you for correcting that. Like these dudes get deluded and they think that they're in a different league than they are.
Yeah, then they like
And
won't
they
settle
treat
down with a girl.
They
or
won't settle down. Yeah.
because they're like, oh well, I could do better because there's that hot chick I fucked that one time.
Yeah. It becomes like Pokemon. You're just damn out there hunting Pokemon like a fool.
Yeah.
Letting beautiful babies slip by or go unsatisfied or like, God, it breaks my heart.
You're like, the real problem. We're like talking about big problems. You're like, the real problem is these girls who are not getting properly laid.
I think it is a big problem, Like, we can make all of our issues about, like, all this other, like, nuanced, complex stuff, and, but, like, there's also, like, primal stuff that if it's not taken care of, society starts to go a little haywire.
Yeah, no, I think, yeah, luckily I don't have that problem right now.
Yeah. But something's happening to us. I don't know what it is. It seems like we're just becoming more individualized, and
we all have a front row seat, so we might as well engage, do our part, and watch the show and be part of it and realize we're creators of our own reality and that we have that life is something that comes out of us, that's not happening to us. So I don't know, we can just try to remind ourselves to be in empowered positions through life, and how we see the universe and how we relate to people and ourselves and everything, and have fun with it, and hold a high bar for how we love people, how we connect with people, how we want to express ourselves, and I don't know.
I think like we were watching this documentary about Little Richard the other day. Great story. I'm really glad that we watched that.
Yeah, I didn't really know. I knew he was pretty like flamboyant, I guess, but I didn't really know the whole story and the origin story and how he. Yeah, well.
Well, I mean, just to bring his story to the point we're trying to make, like, this is a guy that came up in like the 40s, 50s, and 60s, and like became a superstar. One of the OG superstars of rock and roll.
Oh yeah.
One of the original like
inventors.
5 people that like really invented rock and roll. And he struggled his whole life with his identity and his sexuality, and really just more the way he wanted to be perceived by the public. And you watch this film and it's just like the back and forth of like, I'm an out flamboyant gay man who does drugs and has sex orgies and is crazy rock and roller, and to like, no, I'm an ordained minister, I'm a man of God, I reject all that stuff, I'm straight, I'm not gay. Just big, huge swings between those two throughout the life, based on like the way the public was perceiving and reacting to him.
Or he was perceiving and reacting to himself in a way.
Yeah, but in the point I'm trying to make is that used to be a problem only famous people would have. And I think with the ubiquity of social media now, everyone kind of has that.
You gotta manage your brand.
Yeah, yeah,
And we're all becoming brands individually,
yeah.
whether we like it or not. So your identity, your sexuality, your gender identity is like, yeah, it's all very public.
Yeah,
Or, you know.
yeah.
And sometimes when you feel like it's not public, sometimes it's because so much of the currency of life happens in that social media world. You can feel like, whoa, am I even part of this world? You know?
You are.
Yeah, no, you definitely are. I'm not saying, whatever. I do think people are afflicted. That is an affliction though, of like stepping away from social media and then feeling like they're like a little bit of FOMO or not being seen. And we all want to be seen and loved.
My
you
dad's
know?
never been on social media.
Yeah.
And he lives his life in a perpetual state like he's missing out on something. He doesn't even know what social media is or what people are doing on the internet or anything like that. But he carries it as a big weight that he doesn't feel as like in the know as other people. And it's a strange thing, you know. It's a very human thing to want to feel seen, heard, and accepted, validated. And now we have lots of tools to do that. And I think some people really binge on that, like ourselves, who put out podcasts and films and
Yeah, guilty as charged.
and
right?
shorts and all this stuff. We stop short of like excessive selfieism.
We were just too old for that shit.
We're too old for that shit.
I don't have enough good angles.
No. I think every angle's good on you. The angle we shoot this podcast at is my like worst.
What?
Yeah, I clicked on one of our podcasts the other day and I was like, man, the way we do this, like I'm just profile to you and like I've got my eyes turned towards you. So it's just like I don't know. If I thought about it, it could make me self-conscious, but
You're crazy.
I'm handsome. I can handle it.
So what I loved about the Little Richard documentary on HBO or Max or whatever the fuck, is, you know, he's a young rock star, but he really had to fight for his space and recognition, like to get on the radio shows, to get an album, like seeing him be his number one hype man.
Yeah.
You know, and it was like, it's kind of like what we've always said, what has been said, no one's out there looking for you. You got to advocate for yourself. And so to see Little Richard, the inventor of rock and roll, a superstar, you know, have his career start by like annoying people at record companies, like literally just pestering them till they gave him like, till they saw him or gave him a deal.
Because his talent was undeniable. All the record companies knew about it. They were just like skittish because it was new. It sounded different, and that's how he got his first record deal.
Yeah, and then they made him.
He just hounded them, and they were like, "Fine, whatever."
But then they made him like sing like Ray Charles and all that stuff, and then he went to a bar and in the middle of like at a lunch of like recording an album and like broke out and did Tutti Frutti or something.
Tutti Frutti, good booty. Tutti
That's
Frutti,
the original lyrics.
Good booty. Yeah, the original, the much gayer lyrics that they made him sanitize.
No, and it was so interesting to see like all the drag performers back in that day, and then his like friends who are transgender and all that stuff, and that, you know, all this territory that it played around, and how you know, how people who were on the gender spectrum like had to go to this like extreme performance art space.
They had to, what was called the Chitlin circuit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they literally had to go like be part of the circus.
Yeah.
In order to be themselves, and that's how he got into like playing around with drag and just really embracing his feminine qualities. He was such a beautiful person too. So
crazy that he would, you know, he'd basically do too much coke and get scared and be like, I'm straight again. This is horrible.
Oh my God. They don't really say that in the movie, but it's clear to anyone watching that's like done drugs or been around drugs. Like, yeah, he would take it too far. Probably not drink water, miss many nights of sleep, have fucking crazy ass orgies with it, you know, and you know, and then he would do too much coke and get spooked and get super paranoid and retreat back into being a man of God.
Yeah, to the point where he's like, I make devil music, because when he would perform, it was so rowdy that people would destroy
the theater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, it was almost surprising that he was able to like have those realizations and just not, instead of pull it back, just be like, I'm out.
Yeah.
What I do is devil music. Meanwhile, he had the support of his mom. His dad had finally supported him, and then he passed away, and like
Yeah.
he had the support of his family, but still I mean, I guess when you're Southern Baptist, was that what he was? Well, whatever. It's religious in the South who,
Yeah.
you know, you just, there's a lot of, and he married women.
Yeah.
And I mean, that might have to do with gay marriage not being legal, but it didn't even seem like there was like a love of his life that was a man.
No, or at least not somebody that was willing to like come forward. I gotta pee. We're back.
Okay.
We're talking Little Richard. We're talking the origins of rock and roll, baby. Did you know much about Little Richard before we watched that?
No, not really. I mean, no.
He was a mainstay in culture when I was coming up. He would be, he just tons, he was just like a celebrity.
Yeah.
Tons of late night appearances, game show appearances. Like he was just like a celebrity that would appear a lot.
Yeah, like I knew him as like older guy who like mad props, kind of like, you know, just, yeah. I knew like respect.
Yeah.
But beyond that, I didn't really know that much. So to see his origin story was very inspiring and interesting, to say the least.
One of 12 kids.
Mm-hmm.
And was obviously flamboyantly gay from a young age. And his dad did not like that.
And the story as old as his time is getting screwed by the record company and stuff.
Mm-hmm. The story as old as time is things that become extremely popular in culture were stolen from gay and black people.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, both.
Right.
And made popular, and they don't get their due. And what sucks for Little Richard, and what's so embarrassing, is like pretty much every public appearance he made after like 1985, maybe even earlier, he just had to like tell the story about he was the guy that invented rock and roll.
I know. I feel so bad
and
that he had to.
He was there with the Beatles, and he was there with the Stones. He showed them their moves. He taught them how to sing, and like
you know, at the beginning,
it sucks when you have to do that for yourself.
At the beginning, him being a hype man was like super admirable.
Yeah.
And then by the end, he's being his number one hype man. I'm like, God
It's
damn
sad.
it! What the fuck? Fuck us. Fuck people.
I know.
You know, I mean, I guess there's part of like appealing to white culture because like especially in the 50s, 60s, it was like a predominantly like the number of white people compared to black people. They're just a bigger consumer base.
Yeah.
But still, like to have his song and then be like, we're threatened by him. So we need Elvis to sing this song.
Pat Boone is the one that made Tutti Frutti a hit.
Which is
It's
such a sad, pathetic excuse for a cover of that song.
Yeah, it really is.
But then what actually was interesting was to see that him being flamboyant ended up allowing him to be considered safe for being in these spaces, like these white spaces, because they weren't worried about him having like
stealing
the
women.
biggest sin would be, you know,
yeah,
him stealing the women.
He
or
was
whatever.
he was so over the top and obviously gay that homophobic people were like not even threatened by him. He was such an anomaly that it was just like, oh yeah, sure.
Or racist people, especially. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's just I think watching all these stories are important to see where we know this about how our culture and the U.S. has been so racist, but to like see it through music and see that, okay, there were black nights and there were white nights, and then it's like the only way that integration really started to happen is that Little Richard was so amazing that the white kids started coming to the black nights, and then the white kids would sit in the back, and then they'd be like, fuck this, we're going in, and then they're like in love with Little Richard, so they're not like threatened by other black people. They're just like, they're having a great time, and the music is a great time. So he, I think, in a way, did more for like
civil rights
in a way than, I mean, he's like, I think it's worth saying what a prominent figure he was in the evolution of civil rights.
Yeah.
Because of his music bringing people together.
Absolutely. And, we have this, because in this house we debate a lot about, the state of the world and the shape we're in and what are people going to do. And I couldn't even think of what I'd encourage a kid to do. And I always just come back to the same thing, which is make art. It'll sustain your soul. It'll make you want to be on this planet. You'll be creating. It's not hurting anyone. and you can change the world. You have more of a chance of changing the world with a piece of art than with a vote or a tweet or whatever.
Well, you know,
So, like this is like it's a great example because I use it all the time, but it's just like that's what people should do. If you want to change the world, see the world in an interesting way, hold space in that and make art about it. And that's what Little Richard did. And like you're saying, he's a civil rights hero for that. And there's many others, obviously.
Did you know one of the highest concentrations of artists, and I'm sure it's not the case anymore since it's starting to cease to exist, is Palestine as far as the amount of artists per per people?
That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, something about this continue death rattle, last gasp of Western imperialism will probably make great artists out of a lot of
Hopefully
Americans.
this is the last gasp. You
Yeah.
know, hopefully we don't look back at this and be like, oh yeah.
That's when America really fucking took over tenfold or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. But I can't stress that enough, and it seems like almost like a glib thing to say in the face of everything that we're all seeing on the news, but it's not. It's not. It's how you brighten the world.
Yeah.
It's
no.
how you let your soul shine.
I
If
mean,
more
being
people let their soul shine, we would understand each other more.
Being an artist isn't easy, and I think
No.
I also understand that this time in life isn't easy, and we need to figure out how to also support ourselves and be sustainable. So,
Being an artist doesn't mean that you can't have a job or a career or
Yeah.
whatever. I'm not saying quit anything. I'm not saying, you don't want to conflate those two. And I think that there's a reason people conflate those is because that's what's handed down upon us. Like, don't make art, be productive, do this and that. And it's like, you could do both, You can go be a union plumber, which would be a great job to have these days.
Oh yeah.
And, make art on the side and get your voice out there. And hey, if it starts making money, great. Yeah, quit your job then. But that's what happened to me. Like, I saw a path where I could be a filmmaker, and I was like, I have to leave the day job behind. And
then you still.
I still worked,
yeah,
of course.
no,
I still work, but I saw a path where if I freed up a lot more of my time, I could do this in a way and make a go at it before I had responsibilities. I'm glad I did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because having the goal of making your art sustain you is kind of like, it's a dance that is kind of forever, and it's not like, oh.
Yeah, it's not something you figure out before you start the thing. It's like something you're constantly figuring out.
And then even once you figure out, it's like, okay, you still might need to go back and have a job or do this and have a job. Like, we're working, we're figuring it out,
We sell things.
Yeah, if you want to support us.
Yeah.
Link in the
Ask
description.
us what we have.
But, I'm working with Katie and stuff like that. Like, there are different ways of, when we're trying to get commercial work, we're using our art in a way that's like, okay, what kind of art would we want to create that could have commercial viability?
Mm-hmm.
And always being creative and understanding what the market is and playing to it in a way that is ideally more and more with our integrity.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think what we all do is art. Like being a plumber can be artful in how you do it, even so. And that what I was saying the other day to someone, Zeph Stroud out.
Shout out to my man Zeph.
Yeah, we love you.
God, what a sweet soul.
But I said this and I was like, this really makes a lot of sense to me. That like even when you're not in the act of creating, you are an artist because you're observing and you're seeing stuff and you're like you're saying having an opinion that you can then do something with. So I feel like too often we're like beating ourselves up for like not being pen to paper.
Yeah, and I hope we don't contribute to that with some of our rhetoric. But like, an example like Zeph, he's a really young guy. He's very young, and he's like I just feel like I'm not doing the thing. I'm working at a factory and it's taking up so much of my time. The act of surviving this and that. And he's so young, so it's myopic and it's his life, so it's it's hard to see. But like from my stance on it, I'm like, damn, this is such an epic origin story.
Yeah.
This is fucking incredible. When you are killing it on all fronts, and when you're a musician or an artist or whatever it is you end up doing and getting your vibration heard, it's gonna hit that much more. I mean, that's that real shit. You
Yeah,
know,
no, like you
that's
worked at a
real.
deli, I worked at restaurants.
Working at that deli made me who I am. It made me interface with people in a different way. It made me see people in a different way. It made me realize how much I can change the vibe. Someone could come in a shitty place and I could play a little trick on them and we could both be laughing. Like, it taught me so much. Working long hours, being exhausted, grinding, trying to figure this thing out taught me so much about how I didn't want to have to operate in the world. And it taught me so much about work ethic and focus and all this stuff. And I think working in a factory is nothing to be ashamed of. This
Yeah.
actually sounds like not that bad of a job.
Well,
You don't know what someone's doing, but
no, I
like,
think there's more and more taking advantage of people and
yeah,
being
no, I
more
know.
oppressive about bathroom breaks, and it's like
No,
that's
it
what
sucks.
everyone's having to fight. We're at like starting from square one again about having to fight for rights and fight for humane working conditions and humane hours and
Yeah.
humane wages and all this stuff. And there needs to be a lot of forward momentum, but yeah, there's no shame. Like I was just what pops up is like Kurt Vile used to like operate the forklift at the brewery and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
everyone, especially, and even as you get older, I think of who is it, Link Ray or who? No, not Link Ray. What am I thinking of? Sugarman,
Sugar Gay?
Sugar Gay.
Who are you
No.
talking about? Rodriguez.
Yeah,
R.I.P. Recently died.
yeah,
Yeah, he was just like a working class dude. He didn't even know he was like beyond famous in South America, like the Beatles down there. Yeah, that's Searching for Sugar Man. That's a good story.
yeah. And I think we're just all searching for the most useful way to serve our community and people, and it's a beautiful thing.
I think that's why like music like Bruce Springsteen speaks to so many people, because like he's speaking from a place that's just like, wow, that sounds like my life. That sounds like something I've been through. Like I know when I was the biggest Bruce Springsteen fan was when I was in the most grind of work in my life.
Yeah.
Multiple jobs, running around, working at the deli and multiple internships in the city and all this stuff, and just like listening to Bruce Springsteen sing about people struggling to keep it going, and struggling to transcend the small town attitude towards life and go on to bigger and better things. And yeah, I think, I don't know, I know Zeph, so I know he's gonna be fine, but it's just hard to impart that on somebody. Like, yo, dude, just keep doing it.
Well,
You're gonna be fine. It's gonna be awesome.
when I was scared at 24 and 22 and all those ages, not knowing I didn't even know what I wanted to do, let alone like have a vision for it. My mom would always be like, I didn't even know that my job existed at your age.
I love that you're saying that, because like that would be my message to anyone below the age of 30.
Yeah.
Life is long.
I mean, I
Plenty of time to figure out what you like doing. That's going to change a lot.
think it's ageless.
All I'm saying is 18 to 25-year-olds or beyond, like, don't worry too much about it. The world is changing so fast. Everything's happening so fast. Don't... there's just no hill worth dying on when it comes to like a career or this or that. Like, embrace this time of your life where you don't have to have it figured out. You don't have to. You really don't have to have it figured out at that age. Fuck around. Find out. Do things. Make mistakes. Like, to me, that's what that age was.
Yeah,
My whole 20s was that. Like, make mistakes. Try things.
Yeah.
Fuck up a little bit.
I was grinding my way up the producer ladder, from office PA to coordinator to production manager to producer to now executive producer. And now I still do all those freaking jobs. I just do them for
Yep.
myself. So that's
Yeah.
kind of what it even means. Like, you kind of also have to go to a corporate space to like kind of see the territory.
Yeah.
And then,
Well, that narrative of like figure out what is it you want to do, and like really like putting all that pressure on 17, 18-year-olds who are like about to go into college, and it's like figure out your major and what you want to do, and it's just like those are big decisions, especially nowadays. When our parents were coming up, college cost $2,000, so it was like, oh well, I don't like being a psychologist anymore. I'll go for this. Nowadays, that decision you make when you're 17, 18, if you have to go to a 4-year school for it, you're coming out on the other end with $200,000 worth of debt. You have to go into that profession. That's a bit, like, to me, that's like, take that pressure off yourself And I feel like one of the ways of taking that pressure off yourself is like, I'm an artist and I'm going to have a bunch of different kinds of jobs maybe throughout my life to sustain that. Hopefully my art will eventually sustain me. But my career is I'm an artist, and then there's jobs and there's things you do, and do anything in your fucking power to not get caught up in a big amount of debt. Because that's what seems to be tying people up.
Yeah.
If you can avoid that huge chunk of debt that comes with a bullshit 4-year university education in America, you should avoid that.
I'm grateful that I don't have debt. And
if you and I had college debt, we wouldn't be able to do what we're doing.
yeah.
We would have a bill every month that was something that we would have to pay. We don't have any bills that we have to pay, really.
Well, yeah, wait, there's,
But that's a big one.
That's a
big one. That's like fucking a rent size chunk every month. And we would have to do things that we don't want to do. It's not like we still do have to do things we don't want to do, but that's a big one that we relieved ourselves from. For me, by commuting to college and working at the deli and getting full scholarship. I fucking had to grind to figure out how to get a scholarship. I had to live in Florida to get that scholarship. They don't give that shit out up here.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. But you got to do what you got to do to pursue the thing that you love, which is making art and sustaining yourself. And don't get too caught up. Don't get too caught up. Just one brick at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just build this thing.
I mean, I don't know anyone who has it all figured out, at any age. I know very beautiful, successful people who are have had successful careers, have done the whole thing, and they're confused as ever because it's a confusing time. It's like the nature of the beast almost right now. And I don't know if that'll let up, so we might as well enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah. But it also has because of social media and everything, it's like I think our anxieties are all a little bit more because we're in competition with each other. We're in a comparison culture, and now we can see what everyone's doing, and everybody is posting online their best lives and their best selves. And so we kind of have a fucked up vision for how good people are doing. And I think it's good that we remind people we're holding it together, but we're not doing that great. We don't really know anyone that's doing that great. Actually, we know a lot of people that are in the struggle. All right, so we're all in the struggle. Let's have a good time. Let's have a good time. Let's not take all the things that put us all in the struggle as seriously. Because, to me, that makes me feel better. It was like when the quarantine first happened. I kind of felt normal or relieved or whatever. I was just oh, we're all in this together. It's not like this is just happening to me. Otherwise, it would have felt like I got fired or something, like that. Oh God, we're not doing anything. We're not making money. We're not able to make. It wasn't just happening to us. It was happening to everyone. So there was something very whew.
Yeah, we're oh, the thing stopped. We're back.
Technical difficulties, would you call it?
Thank God I put this little mirror up so when I look, I can notice if it stopped.
Yeah.
No, the technical difficulty is I guess we're shooting these in 4K, so we have to be religious about deleting previous episodes.
Would you ever want to get this podcast to a place that's where we had somebody that was a off-camera producer, sitting over there, making sure everything's good, looking stuff up for us? We could ask them questions. They're,
I mean, I used to have that dream, but now I don't really spend time dreaming about things like that. I mean, I guess that's me thinking small. We have this conversation between us all the time. You're thinking too small.
Yeah.
I'm contracted.
If I hear you repeat certain things or say certain things a certain amount of times, I'm it triggers my natural immunity of just hey, making sure we're not shrinking our life around your weird self-conscious inner monologue. Can you just say what you're self-conscious about so we could move that energy and not shrink our life?
Mm-hmm. What was the question? Huh?
You brought it up. The words you make a difference, I think. Like we were saying about liquid death, The universe responds. You're casting spells. Spelling.
Yeah, spelling.
Yeah, you're casting spells. So when I hear language coming from you that sounds like it's coming from a core belief that we should be getting smaller or that we should be self-conscious.
Oh, because
or
you were
shrinking in
asking
any
me
way.
if I dream of having a producer. I mean, yeah, I would love for someone to tell me what to think about and talk about, and like have to. I loved when Mare was on the podcast. It felt like, oh, okay, well, less work for me, you know. So, and yeah, I mean, I've just come to the place where I'm embracing what we do, and I'm trying to have both feet in it. You know, I think for a while I've had like one foot out the door, kind of not out the door like I'm going anywhere, but one foot like not fully committed. Like this is this thing that Sean makes me do and I do it.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, this is this thing I do and I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna try to do
Soon
it.
you'll get to the place where you're like, this is this thing I'm really good at. We
Yeah,
have
maybe one day,
loyal
hopefully.
listeners, and I like doing it.
Yeah, and also like not wanting to feel shame around. I mean, I'm not like, I don't judge it in a way of like, oh, we don't have X amount of listeners, like, because the idea of having more listeners scares me, you know what I mean? So
yeah.
so that's like, is that fear? I don't know. But yeah, of course, a producer would be awesome. But at the same time, I love, maybe it's my instinct to shrink, but I love the freedom that we have. Even when we were with someone else or with whoever, it's like, getting two people on the same page is hard enough.
Yeah.
3, just you add more to it. And I guess, and then
Yeah.
it's like, okay, we have to wait till this person is available to come over. And like the fact that we can do this ourselves makes me feel like the pipeline to idea to creation to release is like, we're making that pipeline as small as possible.
Oh, yeah. Otherwise, we wouldn't still be doing the podcast.
Yeah, definitely not.
Yeah.
And same with our movies and trying to like streamline stuff so that there's not a big gap between our ability to make documentaries.
Yeah.
You know, we make documentaries. We love making documentaries. Yeah, of course.
It's our calling.
Of course, having talented cinematographers is a huge plus.
Yeah.
But
Are they available? Will they work for the budgets we have? Usually not.
are we going to let that be the reason we don't make art? You know, and that's why it's
I've
like,
been tempted a couple times, obviously, you know. But my higher self says, what are you doing?
what are you doing?
You know, it's because it's such, it feels good to give up and to catastrophize. I don't know if you ever get like that, but
Maybe I don't feel as like
it feels good. I'm just telling you. When you put all the pressure in the world for 20 years on yourself to like make film, be a filmmaker, make films that make a difference that people connect with and want to share. And all you need to do that is like a team of people that are willing to do it, and one of the people in the team drops off the cinematographer. It's very easy to catastrophize for me and be like, oh, fuck it. This is hard enough to do to begin with. It's hard enough to build and sustain. Like, yeah, I guess I'm not doing this anymore.
mm-hmm.
But we're not allowing ourselves to do that.
Well, so this podcast often ends up being the documentary Sean Cassiv watched, but this is what this is reminding me of.
We're filmmakers. We do a lot of research.
Yeah, we do a lot of research.
We watch the documentaries that come out and we say what's going on. And stylistically, they suck royal dick. But some good, important stories are getting told.
Yeah, and
Terribly.
documentaries we wouldn't even want to do. Like, I don't want to tell Little Richard's story, not because we're not the people to do that.
No, it's. I think we would be good at doing that kind of thing. It's just like it would really have to be an artist we are completely head over heels for.
Oh, I have no doubt that
Yeah.
it would be done very well and interesting and different. But it's like, you're kind of glad that there's the Alex Gibneys who like have that formula for getting as much information across entertainingly as possible.
Yeah.
Anyway, what you're talking about reminds me of, this is now a few weeks ago, but we watched the Stallone documentary,
Sylvester Stallone.
Sylvester Stallone. What is that documentary called?
I don't know, it's probably just called Stallone.
Yeah.
Or Sly or something like that.
I think it's called Sly, maybe. Anyway, what inspired me about his story as an artist,
Very inspiring, actually.
very inspiring, highly recommend, was he became like one of the biggest stars of the 90s and like one of the only actors to be in like multiple franchises and to write and direct, and everything that he did is just like almost unfathomable, the success and highs.
He won an Oscar.
Yeah, insane.
For Rocky.
Insane. But the thing that I didn't realize about Rocky is that he was an actor, and because he's a weirdo looking guy, can we call him that?
Yeah. He's got a very unique look.
He's got a unique look.
People didn't know what to do with him.
Yeah, so he ended up being like the heel in something or whatever, some weird character. And he wanted to be the star.
Yes.
And so he would take screenplays and rewrite them.
Yep.
And he wrote and wrote and wrote and wrote a story for himself, Rocky.
Yep.
And then he sold Rocky somehow because he knew the right person at the right time, whatever it is.
Great script.
And they were like, yes, we want this, but you are not the lead man.
You're not going to have anything to do with this.
I don't even know if it was like nothing to do with it. It was just like, you can't be the star.
They weren't going to let him direct it either.
Okay.
Trust me.
I don't know. I don't remember that part.
Even more so, they probably put their foot down about that.
I don't know. Yeah, but what they talked about is that they wouldn't let him be the actor.
Mm-hmm.
And so he had an opportunity to take lots of money and get his idea made, or hold his ground and potentially risk this project fading into obscurity and never coming to fruition.
Which happens.
Which happens all the time. It's amazing anything gets made with the amount of decisions that required to even do anything in this life. Anyway, he stood his ground and was like, this is my chance. Like, this is my chance. And somehow the stars aligned and he got to be the guy in it by holding his ground. And look at what happened. I mean, look at what happened. Talk about being your number one fan, your number one hype man. You have to believe in yourself in order for other people to believe in you.
Yeah.
And he literally wrote his own destiny.
Yeah.
In one of the most like American stories there are, probably.
Yeah. It's so epic. He's the fucking man.
He's the fucking man.
And had a shitty upbringing, really tough upbringing. His dad fucking used to beat on him and shit. And he was just like an obscure character actor. You know, you wouldn't even notice. He was in like maybe 8 or 10 things before Rocky, but no leading roles. Like just the side guy. And then all of a sudden he's the star of this movie that actually was good. And he wrote and directed it, and it right out of the gate became a hit. And he said his whole life changed the day that premiered. Mm-hmm. So crazy. Yeah, he is the man.
Yeah, and then he had like highs and lows, and he was persistent. Like even getting to the place of Rocky 4, Rocky 5 being a thing.
Yeah.
Was like a lot of like highs and lows. Like, God, the drama of being a human, but then the accentuated drama of being like a highly public human, where a lot of people either put a lot of faith in you or put you on a pedestal, or then have really intense judgments of how you should do things, or it's crazy.
And he's still at it. He's still doing it.
I mean, right now he's like doing a family reality show, which I can't bring myself to watch.
Yeah, but he's also like in the Expendables 4, and like
he
had multiple. He had Rocky, Rambo, and the Expendables, like 3 huge franchises.
And he's in Creed. Does he have anything to do with Creed? Obviously.
Creed? Yeah, obviously. Yeah, he's in those movies.
And he did that movie where he fights Robert De Niro.
He's done so many movies.
Obviously.
Most of them are terrible.
Most of them are terrible.
But,
and if you want to feel better about your life, I guess, watch that movie too, Sly too, because like he had so many flops where it's like, my career's over,
Oh, and Hollywood turns their back on you.
Oh, brutal.
It's a great thing to know, like the origin story of like a guy like that, to know. And same thing with Little Richard, and like we could name countless other people. Like, help was not on the way. No one was looking for them. Hollywood wasn't knocking their door down. They were knocking Hollywood's door down. They were saying, I'm undeniable. I need to be heard. I need to be seen. And they had to fight to get there. And not only did they have to fight to get there, they had to fight to stay there.
Yeah.
Because this thing is always looking to shit you out. It's always looking to say like, okay, cool, we're done with you. That's enough of you. And you have to really fight to stay in there. And we just watched a great movie a couple nights ago called Chameleon Street from 1989, and it was it's a true story about a scam artist from Detroit from like the 60s and 70s who just he was just a con artist. He just faked his way into multiple situations. It was like a Catch Me If You Can situation before that movie existed. But like he pretended to be a sports journalist and got to interview all these people. He pretended to be a Yale student and got involved with like their student body there. He pretended to be a doctor, a surgeon, and performed 36 successful hysterectomies.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and ended up getting caught doing that and went to jail, escaped from prison, came out and faked his way into being like a high-powered lawyer. He was just like he was a chameleon. And so this black dude, Wendell
Harris Jr.
Wendell Harris Jr. Found out about this story and like interviewed the guy in prison for 3 years and wrote this script and borrowed money from his family and got this movie made, and it's just like stylistically, like it's awesome. It's just a cool movie, and you're like, we're watching it. I'm like, how have I never heard of this? Like, this actor is, he wrote, directed, and acted in it like Rocky, and I'm like, where is this guy? How come we never saw him again? And then you realize like he charged the movie up with so much race commentary. Mm-hmm. That Hollywood was just like, we want to have nothing to do with you. So the movie, it won Sundance and didn't get any offers for distribution.
Nope.
Eventually, Warner Brothers picked it up as, they said, we'll buy this, but we're not going to distribute the movie. We're buying the rights to remake it. They're like, we'll make the proper version of this with like Will Smith, and just never got made. And this guy, no one's ever heard of him. That was his one movie. He made it in 1989, and then for 30 years tried to get it seen, and finally got a release in 2021. It just wallowed in obscurity till 2021. It still is in obscurity.
Yeah.
But this guy's whole career was fighting to get that movie seen and distributed, and other projects he had, and he had some close calls with getting like back in with Hollywood, and it just didn't work out. It's so heartbreaking, and
it's a bummer because he would have made some really incredible movies.
His social commentary, like he took that like what's already a really cool story and made it into like really amazing satire, social commentary. Highly recommend this movie, Chameleon Street. It's on the Criterion Channel right now.
A lot of good stuff on there.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff on there, but it's not something you ever get on the other side of. As people that have made a bunch of movies and put out a bunch of podcasts, and it's never something you ever feel like you're on the other side of. And so when you embrace that part, that fight part of being an artist, like it's cool. It's cool. You just get down with it. You're just like, every time it's starting over. We're making a movie right now. It feels like we're starting over. We're learning how to use the camera. We're going to learn how to figure out who the audience is for this and how to get it distributed properly. And like, it just
literally every movie feels like a completely you can't rely on what you've done in the past, because
no one cares.
Also because we're changing. We're like, this sounds weird to take like pride in not being darlings of Hollywood, but when you see who is and what kind of movies are being made, you're like, ugh, who would? Like, you sell your soul. I mean, I don't want to have like negative thoughts and be thinking small, but I'm just like, I literally couldn't be.
Well, what concerns me is when you're like, I don't want a big audience on the podcast, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's not my big concern, but why don't you want that? Like, what's the difference? Like, I am curious. I genuinely am asking you, like, when you get spooked about like, oh, what if we had 50,000 people watch?
Because that's when the vampires come.
Yeah, it's true.
They want a little piece of your energy, make you feel bad, whatever. I don't need that. If I were to think about it for a second, I guess.
But the movies you're confident in, and you want millions of people to see them.
Of course. And that's why I'm so grateful to people who share their likeness with us, so that we can share the essence of who they are and their story, and like how generous that is.
it blows me away every time I think about it.
Mm-hmm.
The level of generosity and ease. We've never had to convince anyone
Yeah.
to be in our movie or to.
We meet the right people at the right time.
Yeah,
it seems.
it's very groovy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get into a groove with people, and it's like you've been here before, been here forever. Like, rad, we're doing the thing again,
Mm-hmm.
and it's very magical, and I don't take it for granted, and it's like literally why we have a spiritual life is to try to sustain this in a more interesting way, is to try to keep doing this, because like we've seen and talked about with countless examples, help is not on the way, and that's a relief. That's a relief. Like, this is on us.
Yeah, you write
This
your
is
own
on
destiny.
you.
Yeah.
Whatever it is you're thinking about doing, whatever plans you're hatching up, it's on you.
However big or small you want to make those.
Yeah, and assume no one's going to care. And they won't. They won't at first. But then you become undeniable, and you keep doing it. And hopefully you find your audience and you find your voice. And there's no more beautiful life that I could imagine for anybody than getting to experience that. Some
Expressing
of the glory,
yourself.
yeah, some of the glory we've tasted, like when you put out a movie and it's just like, wow, they're getting it, they're passing it around.
Well, it's a loop that gets completed.
Yeah,
It's a circuit, and I'm sure that's how musicians feel when someone appreciates their album or their song or whatever.
yeah,
Because you allow someone the opportunity to feel something bigger than themselves, or relate to you, or relate to the person that they're listening to or talking to or whatever it is, and then we all become a little more human in the process.
mm.
You know?
Ouch, 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 ouch. Well, this was a damn pleasure.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
I appreciate you. Buy our shirts. Where can people buy our shirts and our sweaters and our hats?
churchofchill.etsy.com, and yeah, Patreon, there's some discount codes. If you've previously bought a shirt, I emailed you another discount code that's even higher.
Yeah.
And yeah, we really appreciate your support.
Yeah, please join the Patreon. It's a lot of fun. We're putting a lot of cool little podcasts. A lot. We've been having guests on more lately, and so we just have these conversations on the Patreon. But there's tons there to go through.
Yeah, when I think of like a green pasture of the screen age wasteland, I think of Discord. Because it's not like it's like a kind, supportive environment that you're not scrolling through ads or bullshit or whatever it is. Like, it's a green pasture of, like, it's a digital bonfire that we have always burning, smoldering at the very least, and you can come in and throw a log in, and other people can pick that up.
I don't think screens are inherently bad. I think they're just part of our technological advancement. They're going to become more and more part of our life. I think it's the insidious corporate commodification of anything.
Of your intention?
Yeah. And what it does to people, and the negativity that it sparks, and just all the fucking nonsense, that like, I don't think it's inherently bad. I don't think technology is bad or anything like that. I think that we spend too much time looking at nonsense on these things, and it's bringing us further from each other, and we're starting to see the impact of that, and we gotta come back together. We gotta come back together, and one of the ways we can do that digitally is through Discord.
Yes.
Yeah. It feels like wholesome. It'll probably get commodified and fucked with or whatever. There's
sure.
probably already nasty things out there about Discord, but like, in my experience so far, we could say whatever we want in there amongst our friends, and it's really cool. I've learned a lot. I've really learned a lot from the people in our Discord community.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
100%.
Patreon.com/churchofchill. Thanks for joining us. Peace, love, and magic. Incredible.